I was just like, it's just the same thing over and over, and like that's why I like try to find something that like people care about, and that's one thing that Dale Carnegie in that book I was talking about, how to like influence people and win friends or whatever. He talks about like trying to actually like listen to what people have to say and find what like interests them. That's like one great way to like actually make friends. It's like even if it's not interesting to you, like if you're making them feel important, they'll like come back to you.
Yeah, and I've heard some people critique that point, being like it's fake or something or toxic to pretend something's interesting when you don't. But what I think, and maybe this is just me, I think you could find interest in anything just by kind of being, well, first off, just try to be curious about it. And maybe there's certain questions that you don't really want to ask because you don't really care about the answer. But there's probably something about a topic where you could ask and you would actually be interested in what the answer is.
Yeah. And he talked about that in the book. He's like, a lot of the times people like might claim that this is manipulative or might claim that it's like inauthentic, but like a lot of the times like you can genuinely find interest in anything. Like, I mean, unless you're just some like guy that just doesn't have any interest. But, like, I feel like we're two really open-minded people, so maybe we're speaking from a biased perspective, or like we're ignorant to like how other people work. But like I don't know. I just think you could find interest in anything. Like sometimes if some people are talking about something, I'm like I'm not really interested. But if you're just like having a one-on-one conversation with someone, my point is like if it's a group conversation and they're talking about something else, like, but if you just are truly trying to like connect with someone and like hear them out, then I think in a one-on-one conversation you could find things interesting even if they're not to.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to. One of the skills I hope to gain with this podcast is when I'm listening to someone talk, like a guest, for example, I subconsciously, consciously try to, as they're talking about something, try to tell like maybe they get excited when they start talking about one thing and be like, oh, this clearly is something that excites them, and then see like something I could find interesting in it and then ask them a question about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's
commendable.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice in terms of just conversation skills in general.
Yeah. I think so too. And I think one thing like people do a lot too is like talking can like help you reduce social anxiety. I think so many people with social anxiety are like, what am I going to say next? And like if you like start just like talking to people and becoming interested in what they're saying, like you stop worrying about that and you become like a better speaker because you're just like listening to what they have to say as opposed to like, oh, what am I going to do next? Like where's this conversation going after this? I don't know. I just think listening is like a huge part about conversations that people miss. Like a lot of the times people are only worried about what they have to say.
Yeah, it's like the whole putting your focus outwards rather than inwards. Because then what's the point of even having a conversation if you're just focusing on what you're going to say next? Because like the main point of a conversation is to like get info from the other person.
Yeah.